amplified pattern recognition.
Why does the universe exist? We're about 5 Einsteins away from the answer.
Welcome to Think Tank. This is a podcast where in each episode we pick a topic and discuss it with industry professionals and thought leaders in that industry. I'm Josh Gonzalez.
And I'm Braden Drew, and we're the hosts of Think Tank. This is episode 3, where we're talking about mobile 3D capturing technologies with Anton, the CEO of GeoCV.
GeoCV is a computer vision company that uses next-generation 3D cameras to transfer physical reality into virtual reality, all with just a mobile device.
Essentially using tablets or phones with 3D cameras to create 3D models of the environment, all by using your mobile device to scan the area around you.
And in this conversation with Anton, we'll be bringing up ideas, philosophies, processes, among other things, and just try to get different perspectives on this topic. This episode was recorded in San Francisco, California, but the intro was recorded back home in Toronto in our studio. Let's get right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company?
I'm Anton, a co-founder and CEO of GeoCV, and GeoCV lets everyone capture the world in 3D using just your mobile phone. So with our mobile app, you can 3D scan the space around you, any person or any object, and get a high-quality 3D model. Then you can put the 3D model on a website to share it with your friends, or you can put in virtual reality to let other ones immersively view your space. For example, if you're a real estate agent and you want to sell a house.
Wow, that's really cool. Where'd you get the idea? Like, what made you think, this is going to be really big in virtual reality, and this is the thing we want to do, this is the thing we want to focus on?
Well, me and my co-founder, we were working in 3D computer vision industry for 9 years, and we did some projects in 3D before that. And our previous startup was about 3D modeling of building facades using just photos. It was an successful startup. We have sold it, and after that we were thinking about what's next, and we decided to build a solution for 3D scanning of interior spaces. But while we were thinking about this solution and developing it, Oculus has been acquired by Facebook, and 3D cameras has started to appear in mobile devices, at least in the prototypes for developers. And that's why we understood that we're on a mission to give everyone a tool for capturing the world in 3D. And why we believe that it is so crucial, because our world is really 3D, and before that we just didn't have technologies to capture it in 3D. But now we have, from the one side, the technologies to view it in 3D, like virtual reality, headsets, augmented reality, glasses, stereoscopic displays, and so on. And the technologies for capturing it in 3D are also appearing in consumer market, like depth cameras are coming to mobile devices. That's why it's the perfect timing to finally deliver this kind of tool to everyone.
So what do you think that people are going to be using it for? You think that it's going to be in everybody's phone and we're all going to be using this to capture and scan the world and share it with people?
Yeah, I will divide it in like long term and short term. In long term, assume that you have a 3D scanner in your pocket, and you also have a 3D viewer that is the same phone inserted into a virtual reality headset, and you are quite used to consuming and creating everything in 3D. That's because that's the best way to share it. It's the most truthful way. In this nearest future, you can capture everything in 3D and use it just as you use photographs. So you can compare it like with black and white photo and colored photo. When you have a color camera, you capture it in color. When you have a 3D camera, you capture it in 3D. But in short term, while all these technologies are emerging, we see more opportunities in some business applications, including real estate. But we are not limited to that. For example, home design and architecture are other very valuable applications that can benefit from technology today.
So would it be like the real estate agents using this, training them to use it, or would it just be very simple for anybody to pick up and just part of their phone?
Yeah, it's very simple. It's similar to scanning, to capturing video in terms of time and effort. And it's basically you scan and you try to like paint the holes so you can walk around the place to scan all of it. And a very cool thing that we do, we create a 3D model just in real time on your mobile device, so you can actually see what you get as a result, and you can guide the whole process. So no special training is required. You can just grab the device and in a few minutes you're kind of a professional scanner.
Oh, well, that's amazing. But I mean, if we want to do it now, we don't have that technology in most cell phones now. Do you have another solution with cell phones that are available on the market right now?
So our app is intended for the next generation mobile device with 3D cameras. Such devices are already in the market. So for example, you can go to Best Buy and get HP tablet with Intel RealSense 3D camera inside. And more devices will appear this year and next year. This topic is pushed hard by Intel, by Google, by Samsung, and even Apple has acquired two companies that are developing mobile 3D cameras. And eventually, like in a year or two, they will be embedded into iPhones and iPads. So you can start it like almost right now. We just need to support the new devices that are coming. And in a year or two, it will be a kind of commodity, at least in high-end phones like iPhones and Galaxies.
Well, it's amazing that you're starting now, like just right on the brink of it.
Yeah, we need some time to develop and to polish our product. That's why it's better to start now. And I think it's the best time, because if we started like many years ago, we will require to develop our own hardware. Now it's not a problem because the hardware is becoming a commodity, and at the same time it's not a good idea to start in a few years after that, because at that time someone else like us will already have a good enough technology to conquer the market.
Yeah, and people will just be using that.
Yeah,
exactly. That's really
so
cool.
it really is the perfect timing for you to be working on this type of app.
Yeah, sure. And for startups, as you know, timing is one of the main criteria for success.
The key aspect, yeah, the timing.
So with the 3D modeling of the space, could you also use that 3D modeling with a 3D printer? Could you scan like smaller and tinier objects and be able to take that model and
Yeah,
use it
you
there?
can even find a sample 3D scan made for 3D printing on Sketchfab, where we upload some of our sample scans. So you can scan smaller objects like people and something smaller than people. Our software currently doesn't have any limitation in terms of size, but hardware has such limitations, so the resolution and the range of the sensors is pretty limited. That's why you can't scan very small objects in high level of detail. But if you scan a person, for example, it could be pretty good.
And what's like the data management system for that? Like, does it take up a lot of data, or is it like very compressed?
So the source data takes a lot of gigabytes, because it's video and it's depth measurements, and depth measurements are not the best media to compress. But the output file is pretty small. For example, the whole 3D model of a 2-bedroom apartment can weigh like 20 megabytes.
Well, I guess it's more for capturing post-construction. So you're not really focusing on the pre-construction market of architecture. Really.
No, we're focusing on like what is called capturing reality, and there's something that already exists for modeling, for creating 3D models of something that is going to exist. There are already good solutions like CAD systems, BIM systems, and so on.
I don't know if you guys have tried this, but would you be able to capture it right from like a Samsung Gear VR type of solution where you have it on the virtual reality and you see from both your eyes as it's mounted on your head?
So when Samsung will have a depth camera, we will be able to do that. Right now, we require depth camera to be embedded in the device, and current Samsung phones don't have it yet. But there are rumors that even the next Galaxy could probably have a depth camera. And for the vendors, depth cameras are not only for scanning. Scanning is only one of the applications. It can help a lot, for example, in photography. So you can make portrait shots when the face is in focus and the background is not in focus. Or you can change the focus after you make the photo. It's very cool. And you can make very easy edits to the photo. So you can drag and drop a person from one photo to another background. So advanced photo is one of the consumer applications. And for especially for Samsung and other guys in virtual reality space, like HTC, for example, depth camera brings an opportunity to build a high-quality inside-out positional tracking. It means that in Samsung Gear VR, you can only rotate your head, but it doesn't track the movement of your head or your body in the space. If you have a 3D camera, you can build a pretty robust solution for navigating inside the space, so you can get a high-end virtual reality experience in a very affordable form factor like a mobile VR headset.
So we'll get something like the HTC Vive,
Yeah,
and
HTC
a mobile version of it.
Yeah, so HTC Vive requires additional cameras, and it delivers the whole new level of virtual reality experience, but it requires some additional setup, and that's why you need some special room, some special equipment. If you have such an opportunity just in your mobile phone built in, you can do it wherever you want, just in seconds.
And I guess that will also go with more social applications. Like we just talked about social VR. How's this going to change social? Like, will we be able to network between mobile devices, and they'll be able to scan each other and find out the depth of each other's headset?
Yeah, sure. So even now you can go to VR chat and try our scan in their system, so you can actually communicate in a real environment that was uploaded to their system. For social VR, we bring an tool that let you bring something that exists in real world to a virtual reality. You can bring your own home, so you can hang with your friends in your real home, or you can bring your own office, so you can make business meetings in your real office. You can bring your own avatars, so you can be realistic representations on virtual reality, and you can bring a lot of stuff like your favorite pieces of furniture or your favorite accessories and so on to virtual reality. And you can not only bring something that you have captured, but you can also use something that others shared. For example, I can capture my favorite piece of furniture, and you can use it or buy it to put it in your virtual home, and so on and so on. So it's a kind of a tool to bridge the gap between physical reality and virtual reality.
That's exactly what I thought. This is really bringing. Like before, we were just putting our head in there, then we were putting our hands inside virtual reality. Now you're giving us the power to take anything from the real world into this virtual reality.
Yeah, and even for augmented reality, it could be even bigger, because in augmented reality, they try to completely eliminate the border between what is physical, what is real. And that's why if you can easily capture the real world and transform it, for example, you really bridge this gap.
It's almost like in those sci-fi movies where you have a chair that just looks like it's all white, and then in that movies they can change the skin and the color of the chair just at a touch of the button.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's revolutionary. It's like how we have the phone, and before you could transfer your voice over space and time, now you'll be able to transfer your entire bedroom or your favorite toys or anything like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Star Wars are coming, so
Yeah.
you can see how R2-D2 projects some kind of a hologram, and what we do is basically a tool for capturing this hologram, so we can capture everything in 3D and then use new technologies for viewing it in 3D. Virtual reality is one of them, but also there are more forward-going devices like holographic displays, for example, that are making us close to this Star Wars future.
Definitely a utopian future that I'd like to live in. Very colorful.
Utopian, yeah. And that's good. That's what I like about this whole place here. Everyone's pretty optimistic about the future. A lot of people are very pessimistic, oh, what's going to happen when we're all using virtual reality? Are we going to shut ourselves off from reality? Are we going to run away from our problems? But I don't think that's the case. I think stuff like this will help us fix that.
So I guess guys here, they try to keep the balance between being optimistic that VR will take off and we will get used to that, and as other point, being realistic that it won't happen maybe that fast. That's why we need some viable business models and bring value today, not in 3 to 5 years from now.
It's really hard though, because like there's not a huge consumer market right now, and especially you're creating software for devices that aren't in everybody's pockets yet, but you're getting ready for that. So how do you keep that balance?
First of all, you need to have a really big vision, and sure, you should believe in that. And for me, because I was involved in 3D computer vision for really 11 years, it's kind of an eternal dream and total belief that it is valuable. It's the most truthful way to capture and share the world. So I have no problem with that. On the other side, you should understand what you can really bring today. That's why we are concentrating now on business applications that do not rely on virtual reality that big. For example, for the same real estate, if you are searching for vacation rentals on Airbnb, having a 3D model there, it will definitely benefit you even if you look at it on a 2D screen. The same for home design, for architecture. So we currently are not so binded to virtual reality emergence.
It all seems very good and uplifting that you're able to have the architecture almost like a fallback, but your goal and your wish is you want that to come into fruition. You want the Google and Intel to really push the technology so you can use this amazing tool to start giving people the creativity to bring their own personal space and to connect that at a social level.
Yeah, I guess that we have, and it's better in this area to have some kind of balance between big vision and small particular steps. So maybe every really big company started with something small, like Facebook was not a network for everyone, it was a network for Harvard. And then it could scale to other people. The same with us. We can start with real estate and architecture, and then we can scale to other industries and consumers.
Right, and use that technology for other means, yeah. What do you think other people would be using it for?
So I guess it's even hard to imagine what we can use this technology for. For example, while we didn't have a camera in our phones, I couldn't imagine that people will take selfies or take photos of their food. But now it's a commodity. I think that it could potentially be a new kind of media that eliminates 2D photo just to 3D photo. So you will take basically everything that you currently take pictures, you will take 3D photos. If the technology is robust and simple enough, if it's just one click. Right now we're developing, I would say, more advanced technology for scanning, so it will take you a few minutes to scan something. That's why it brings the most value when you need to show something remotely, like a space or a good in e-commerce shop, for example, furniture or a car, and so it's like a remote visualization. And also it brings value for something that is related to volumetric geometry, for example, like 3D printing or measurements or modification if you want to see how your room looks like with different furniture and so on. I think that 3D modeling software is great for tasks that require modeling. That's something that doesn't exist. It's kind of artistic stuff. And capturing is basically a very technical task. You can compare it like with painting and photo. If I want to just capture the moment, I better take photo than I make a painting. So it's the same with modeling and scanning.
Yeah, and it's just getting more real and real. Because I'm assuming that it'll also take all the color and all detail, right? Not just the wireframes
sure.
and the meshes.
And also the level of detail of real world is much, much bigger than any modeler can reproduce, because he builds it from bricks, or he needs to spend a lot of time on curating all these details. When you capture the world in 3D, you capture all the color information, so all the details, as well as all the geometrical information, like the small details in geometry.
So how easy is it to actually edit once you actually scan it in? So like I bring in a leather couch and now I want it to be like purple.
So right now it's not that easy because you will need to do everything manually. But in the future we can add such additional features. So you can select some furniture, for example, with your touch interface. You can delete it, and we have algorithms to fill in the space that was behind this couch, for example, and then use some kind of technologies to select, for example, a wall and change its color.
So you're almost going to build with all these scans, like a library of 3D objects that you can just pick and choose. You can almost just start with a space and just scroll through all the things and just pick and choose, delete, drag, drop, customize. It's almost like a designer's dream world.
Right, yeah. Have you thought of that, like doing a platform, like almost keeping a library of all the 3D scans?
So we definitely think that having the access to all this data is beneficial. We haven't thought about the exact way how to use it the best way. We see ourselves as a provider of the capturing solution, and a lot of stuff can be added upon this potentially by third-party services. Like you can assume that there is a solution for taking photos, but then there are different solutions for like sharing photos, for editing photos, for buying photos, and so on. We can't be all of them, so we are focusing on the capturing side.
Well, that's great, because then you're actually solving real problems.
Yeah, I guess that in the future, a lot of valuable services can be built on top of this new media, as it was for every other media like photos and videos and so on. And we are solving some kind of a core problem, because in contrast to taking a photo or a video for scanning, when you stitch all this data together, you need a lot of very advanced computer vision algorithms to make this really work.
So is it full 360 too?
So I think that there is kind of a people call by 3D or 360 different stuff that are very different. From my point of view, 360 is the best term for like panoramic images or 360 videos that are basically not 3D, but you can like rotate your head and change the angle, but you can't move inside. You don't see the stereo image, and you can't measure anything. In contrast to that, we deliver real 3D models. You can compare it to computer graphics in a game. So we can move freely. You see the whole volume, so we can easily see it in virtual reality in stereo. And you can measure everything because the model is metric. It's not just photo.
Do you think it would ever get to the point where you'll be able to 3D scan and capture while you're moving? So let's say you were taking a journey or a train ride, or you're riding your bike through the city. You could be recording the whole time to get an actual environment as you're going through.
So I guess you can capture it even right now with current cameras, at least stereo cameras or light field photography cameras.
And I guess everything has to be static while you're capturing right now.
Yeah, right now we're focusing on static environments, people that are standing still, and objects that are not alive. And we think that for this kind of use cases, we can deliver the highest quality. There are other companies in this space that are focused on capturing live stuff, but they require several cameras, so it's a special setup, and also the quality is not that good.
Yeah, at this point, it's still pretty bad right now. Like, I mean, even like with the bubble cam, it's pretty cool. Like the 360 videos, it's pretty cool. But I mean, even for this, the quality is not exactly there just yet, especially for using a headset. Have you found that a problem? Like actually like reviewing all the scans in virtual reality, or does it look just fine?
Sure, we need to work a lot on the quality to make it really photorealistic. We're working on a very special technique for rendering our 3D scans that would deliver really photorealistic quality, but it's a kind of a research state right now. And usually scan data or 3D model data, they look like artificial because people see a lot of artifacts. So we are on the way that we have found a way to like mix the photos and 3D data to show something that is at the same time three-dimensional and at the same time photorealistic.
Do you have to do a lot of touch-ups by hand? Like
No, it's
That's pretty good.
purely automatic. It becomes a too tedious task, and it could be okay for professionals that want to spend a lot of time on each scan, but it's not okay for the guys like real estate agents or architects who just want the result. They do not want to spend time on the process.
Right, like they don't want to learn 3D modeling
Sure.
techniques. They just want to press a button, have it done. So like you're obviously focusing on the user experience of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be a huge part of it.
Yeah, we want to be it really easy. Otherwise, we don't believe people would use it.
Yeah, because it is a very hard to believe technology. Like it's something that you can't really wrap your head around, so it has to be very simple for the end user
Yeah.
to actually use. Otherwise, it's just way too complicated. Like there's no way you'd be able
and
to
the
do
more
it.
simple it is, the wider like number of people are going to be able to have an easier time using it. And also with age differences, you want to have someone who's 10 be able to use this and someone who's 50 or 60
Sure.
who's not really used to using the technology in general.
Yeah, I'm really curious to think of like if that becomes the next kind of Instagram, the 3D Instagram, how that would actually look like what a 10-year-old would use it for, as opposed to what like a 60-year-old or even like a 40-year-old professional would be using it for. And it's really funny just to think of the different ways people use the exact same technology. What would you use it for, Braden?
I don't know. I think me personally, I would scan things that other people wouldn't scan. I would probably try to be more unique and be like, this is my favorite shirt that I got overseas or something that people wouldn't have in Canada, or this is something I made with my own hands that doesn't exist anywhere else. I don't think I would be like, haha, Starbucks coffee in 3D, or I wouldn't be like that mainstream consumerism, but definitely I would have something personal. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this, is that anyone can choose whatever they want to do and 3D make it. So it's more real. It's just more special in my opinion.
Yeah. Is there a way to capture just the meshes? So like just all of the polygons? And like without the actual texturing and everything? Like so it's just the wireframes and the
Yeah,
meshes?
so we capture the whole mesh, and we produce the whole mesh, but if you want, you can like show it without texture, and usually it looks very beautiful
Yeah, it
because
looks
the
so
geometry itself, it looks very cool.
Oh, I'd definitely do an art project with that. I want to see how an artist would use it. I want to use this. Can I get a hold of this?
So right now we're limited to some particular devices, but very soon you can use it, or I can just share the device with you for you to use it.
Absolutely. So what's the devices you guys are using right now?
Currently we're using Google Project Tango plus PrimeSense. So Tango is a developer version of a tablet that has a 3D camera inside. And PrimeSense is a company that has been acquired by Apple. They were the company behind the first Kinect.
How'd you reach out to Google to get that? Did you have the idea first, or did you get your hands on the device first? Then you're like, we want to build applications.
No, we had our idea first. So even before Google Project Tango, because we understood that we would like to have like large field of view to have a robust solution for capturing interior spaces with a lot of flat surfaces without color. We built our own 3D scanner based on several Kinects and DSLR camera. And then in a few months, Google Project Tango appeared, and then Intel RealSense has become more and more popular, and we understood that we should not spread our resources on building hardware, because very soon it will be just delivered to the hands of everyone in the world. We should focus our effort on the software.
Wow, so everyone will have it. That just gave me a really good idea then. Have you tried the Leap Motion?
I just as a user.
Yeah, as a user. So will it be similar to that? So if it's in the Gear VR and they have a depth sensor, will it be the same kind of tracking system as the
yeah, I guess
Motion?
it could be the same thing, but I think that for VR, this kind of experience where you need to put your hands in front of you is not very intuitive, because sometimes you need to do stuff somewhere. That's why you will probably need some different kind of technology, more wider field of view or whatever.
Have you thought of any like potential problems with the technology of computer vision and scanning? Like what are some, like, I don't know, even the cultural problems with that? Have you ever really thought of, maybe not so far as like the pessimistic side of it, but possible fall downs of it?
So there are definitely some technological challenges because what we are eager to do is deliver really photorealistic results. So you can't distinguish is it a 3D model or is it a real picture, and it's very challenging. And in terms of non-technical and non-like business stuff, there could be some challenges with copywriting. For example, if you I want to scan something and then I 3D print it. So am I still in your design or not?
Right.
So it's an open question.
Wow, that's very interesting. I never thought about it that way. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Or like just making a Braden. I want to make a virtual version of you. I just want to scan you and steal you, have your entire being in my computer.
I wouldn't say something like a whole person, but definitely certain small objects are just like, oh, I don't want to spend money for that.
Oh,
There's
right.
so many knickknacks like, oh, just take out my phone. Whoop, I'm going to go print it when I get home.
No, but that's great for like little pieces. Like those little $2 pieces that you order on Amazon and stuff. You can just 3D print it now.
Yeah.
But I guess, so then things like Thingiverse, would you be able to just scan and put it right in there rather than having to model it and then put it into, into the
Definitely.
software?
So it's, I guess that, of course, some people are makers and they will spend some time on modeling stuff and put it in the metaverse. But the most of us are mostly consumers, and it's easy for us to take a picture. It's much difficult for us to make a painting, and so we can take a lot of scans and put it because it's something that is easy for us, and some object that already exists. It will be much harder for us to like create something, model something manually.
Wow, yeah. So it's like democratizing 3D modeling, essentially.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, not from creating like brand new items, but I mean from things that are already kind of existing in real life anyways.
Yeah, or at least you can use it like a piece for the modeling. So you can capture this, and then combine them or edit them.
And I think the genius behind it is that there's so much stuff that's been created out there that even when you just type in on Google and certain images and stuff, there's so much out there like, oh, I want that. You don't really need a custom 3D model or create something to really get the perfect space that you want. I think you hit the nail right on the head that most consumers will find those objects already existing in reality, and then you just need to get those scans and upload them, and then they'll be just using that content like crazy to make their own personal spaces.
Yeah, and I also guess that our vision is that 3D viewing technologies could be a very valuable driver for 3D capturing. So when you like think what I would capture, I won't capture Starbucks. You won't if you are not used to viewing everything in 3D. Now assume that you have not a flat screen, but you have a 3D screen and you spend a lot of time on virtual reality, and it's just not the best way to view photos in a 3D screen or in virtual reality because they just do not fit. That's why you will capture everything in 3D, just because not because you get some additional value for that, just because they fit the viewing techniques that you used to.
Yeah, it's for the right medium, right?
Yeah.
It's for a 3D medium. People are going to be wanting 3D content.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Instead of just viewing just regular photos in like Flickr, even 360 photos now, I think Flickr just released their app.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that 3D, that extra depth into it, which I find that really cool.
It's fantastic because it's making photos and just the content that people are consuming on massive scales more tangible and have almost like a feel. Like it's the closest you're going to get to a texture and like a gradient of materials without actually having it physically exist. And I think that's amazing for like everything's moving forward. Video games and animation right now, they're all trying that. And then that a consumer on its own can scan something in real time and then use it themselves in a 3D space is fantastic. It's pretty cool. I think that's something that I would personally use, and it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I guess the first time you will have some kind of wow effect, but the best thing will be when you just forget about how this is done, and you will just treat it like a regular physical or virtual object, and you won't think about how this was done. For example, how you don't think, oh, how the photo was done or how this video was captured. It's just you are like consuming or using the content. You are not thinking about the technology behind that. So that's what we want to become, to provide you such kind of technology that is invisible for you. You just use it and you don't think about that. And for me, there was such kind of a moment in virtual reality. When I first tried it, I always looked at how the technology works. Oh, how good the 3D model is created, or oh, how good my head is tracked, or how can I move, and so on. But then I was showed a visualization of a Tesla, and it was some kind of shopping for Tesla. So you have a sales guy that tells you about the car and shows the car in an interactive way. So it shows you first like the exterior, then the interior. He opens the door, he puts it in the air. You can look inside all the wheels and engine and so on. And in a few minutes, I forgot that I'm in virtual reality. I started watching the Tesla, the car. So for me, it was like this aha moment, saying that this is really so immersive that you just forget that it's kind of a technology. You are starting consuming the content, and it's very important. So when the technology disappears and you just starting using it without thinking it, then it could really become something that everyone can use.
Yeah, just like our regular camera phones are now. You just pull it out, snap a photo, and if it's that easy to do it in the 3D, it'll just be insane. That's just like the next step. It's the next logical step for this technology. I really do think that there's a huge market in it. I mean, like from everything from business to consumer, it just makes sense for me. Like it's something that, I mean, there's just so many different applications, and just being able to focus on the one thing, that's the hardest part, honestly, because you're probably so tempted to be like, okay, well, we can do this, we can also do this, but let's just focus on the one thing. How do you keep your focus with that?
We showed our tech to really hundreds of potential customers and just random people at different events. We had a long list of use cases. Then we cut them down to 10. Just by our gut feeling that this one are not the best cases, because either we do not bring a lot of value, or the market is too small, or it's very hard to sell, for example, to governmental structures and so on. And now we are talking to potential customers with deeper interviews to really understand how their business processes works and where our solution can fit in, what problems do we solve, is it a real pain or just like a vitamin pill, and so on. So it's just a very systematic process of saying no to a lot of different opportunities.
Yeah, the opportunity evaluation here.
Yeah,
you're just narrowing it down.
It's basically we start from a wide range of opportunity. We narrow it down to the ones that we want to focus on the start. But at the same time, we understand that it's just for the start, and then we can go back to these deferred opportunities and add them, because then they will become easier for us to enter, because the technology is more ready, the mindset of the people is more ready, and they could be easier for us to enter.
So how do you keep the vision then without being stuck into one thing, just making sure that the whole team is on the same page?
So I guess we started from the vision, and then we selected some particular applications. So the vision, that's the thing that drives us. So we are not thinking about ourselves like a real estate company or architecture company or home design company. We're thinking about ourselves like a 3D capturing technology company that can be beneficial to real estate, home design, insurance, and so on. So vision first, particular applications second, but at each particular applications we really try to understand our customer the best way and to provide him the solution that he needs, and not the solution that everyone else can need and he needs also. So it's kind of a step-by-step process. You can start from delivering a solution that really solves the problem for a specific industry, and then you can use 80% of this solution for other guys.
Yeah, and then whoever else finds use for it, they can use it.
Yeah. You always have some like industry-specific features that, for example, in real estate, creating virtual tours where you guide the customer through the property is valuable. In other stuff, it won't be valuable, but it's like in addition to the core technology, it doesn't change it too much. So we can reuse the core technology for different applications.
Well, I can't wait to see where it heads, like after the very first wave of it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we're about done on time here. I'd like to thank Anton for you coming out here and
Thank you,
spending your
guys.
time. And if there's anything you'd like to plug or add, feel free.
Yeah, you can go to geocv.com. We have a video showing some applications there, and we have some sample 3D scans. You can try them by your own. Go to Facebook and like our Facebook page, and we usually post some major news from the 3D industry about the market, about the technologies, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter on the website.
Awesome. So there you go. Go to geocv.com.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anton. It's been a pleasure.
thank you guys.
If you enjoyed this talk and want to check out more, go to our website at thinktankcast.com and subscribe with your email so we can send you all of the latest episodes, news, and updates right to your inbox.
Also, on our website, there will be show notes for this episode, some links to the things that we talked about, and more detailed information on our guests. If you want to see the video of this episode, it'll be on our YouTube channel, which is also linked on our website.
And if you want to keep in touch, we're on social media. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're at ThinkTankCast on pretty much everything, so you can find us on the web. And all of these details, again, will be linked to our website at thinktankcast.com. Hope to hear from you guys soon.
Amplified pattern recognition.
Why does the universe exist?
We're
We're about 5 Einsteins away from attacking answers.